Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, November 24th, 2025. Big show today. NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, soccer, golf on this day, news and notes, and best bet. We'll begin with the NFL. We'll go over yesterday's games, look ahead to tonight. We have a interesting game tonight for a lot of different reasons, and I'm excited to get to it. Chiefs over the Colts 23-20 in OT. Lions over the Giants 37-24 in OT. Bears over the Steelers 31-28. Pats over the Bengals 26-20. Ravens over the Jets 23-10. Seahawks over the Titans 30-24. Packers over the Vikings 23-6. Jaguars over the Cardinals 27-24 in overtime. Browns over the Raiders 24-10. Falcons over the Saints 24-10. Cowboys over the Eagles 24-21. And the Rams over the Bucks 34-7 on Sunday Night Football. Okay, so 8:15 ESPN tonight, Panthers 49ers from San Francisco. My line is 49ers by only 2, total of 44. So many injuries on the Niners, especially on defense. And Carolina ain't bad. People think Carolina's ass. They're not ass. The total the line 7.5, total's 49.5. So I have a 5.5 point edge on the under, to 5.5 edge on Carolina. But the Niner defense has been so bad. I can't take unders in their games anymore. It's bit me in the ass a couple times. I'm taking the Panthers plus the 7.5. And dare I say, I think they're live. I'm not going to pick them outright. But plus 320 is really, really enticing. So I'm giving out Panthers plus 7.5 for tonight's game. Okay, now we'll move on to college football really quick. We'll go over the weekend's results. College football, obviously, this week coming up is different because of Thanksgiving. So Friday, NC State over Florida State 21-11 and UNLV over Hawaii 38-10. Saturday, number 1 Ohio State over Rutgers 42-9. Number 3 Texas A&M over Stanford 48-zip. Number 4 Georgia over Charlotte 35-3. Number 7 Oregon over number 15 USC 42-27, and Oregon was missing some key players. Number 8 Oklahoma over number 22 Missouri 17-6. Number 9 Notre Dame over Syracuse 70-7. That's style points to move up. Number 10 Alabama over Eastern Illinois 56-zip. Number 11 BYU over Cincinnati 26-14. Number 12 Utah over Kansas State 51-47. Number 13 Miami over Virginia Tech 34-17. Kentucky over number 14 Vanderbilt. Number 14 Vanderbilt over Kentucky. I read that completely wrong. Sorry, guys. 45-17. Pitt upsets number 16 Georgia Tech 42-28. Number 17 Texas over Arkansas 52-37. Number 18 Michigan over Maryland 45-20. Number 20 Tennessee over Florida 31-11. Wisconsin over number 21 Illinois 27-10. TCU over number 23 Houston 17-14. Number 24 Tulane over Temple 37-13. Number 25 Arizona State over Colorado 42-17. Northwestern over Minnesota 38-35. SMU over Louisville 38-6. Wake over Delaware 52-14. Iowa State over Kansas 38-14. Tulsa over Army 26-25. James Madison over Washington State 24-20. Arizona over Baylor 41-17. Old Dominion over Georgia Southern 45-10. Auburn over Mercer 62-17. Kennesaw State over Missouri State 41-34. Nevada over Wyoming 13-7. Toledo over Ball State 38-9. App State over Marshall 26-24. UConn over FAU 48-45. Lotzek over Liberty 34-28 in overtime. Middle Tennessee over Sam Houston 31-17. Mexico State over UTEP 34-31. South Florida over UAB 48-18. Iowa over Michigan State 20-17. Duke over North Carolina 32-25. FIU over Jacksonville State 27-21. South Alabama over Southern Miss 42-35. UTSA over East Carolina 58-24. UCF over Oklahoma State 17-14. Troy over Georgia State 31-19. South Carolina over Coastal 51-7. Clemson over Furman 45-10. Texas State over Neil Monroe 31-14. Penn State over Nebraska 37-10. New Mexico over Air Force 20-3. Boise State over Colorado State 49-21. Stanford over Cal 31-10. North Texas over Rice 56-24. LSU over Western Kentucky 13-10. Wow. Washington over UCLA 48-14. Utah State over Fresno State 28-17. And San Diego State over San Jose State 25-3. Okay, now move on to college basketball. I really don't have time to go over all the results, but what I will do is touch on notable results like ranked teams, bye games, etc. So Friday, and then obviously like tournaments. Yellow for Green Bay 73-67 to Paradise Jam. Charleston Classic, Utah State over Tulane 96-75. Air Force Classic, Alabama State Ryu Indy 101-80. Greenbrier tip off Butler over South Carolina 79-72. Paradise Jam, Charleston over UMass 69-65. Charleston Classic, Davidson over BC 59-49. Bad Boys Muller Series, number 9 BYU over number 23 Wisconsin 98-70. Virginia over Northwestern 83-78. Paradise Jam, Akron over Iona 96-75. Air Force Classic, Air Force over SIU Evansville 77-63. Hoops Classic, number 6 Leave over Cincinnati 74-64. Number 17 Michigan State over Detroit Mercy 84-56. Charleston Classic, Clemson over West Virginia 70-67. Central Connecticut over Rutgers 67-54, so Rutgers loses a bye game. Brotherhood run number 5 Duke over Niagara 100-42. Number 10 Florida over Merrimack 88-45. Number 12 Kentucky over Loyola Maryland 88-46. Hall of Fame Classic consolation game New Mexico over Mississippi State 80-78. Baja Mar consolation game Wake over Memphis 69-68. Queen City Classic Canisius over Maryland Eastern 70-57. Big 5 Classic Campus game Penn over Drexel 84-68. Portland Invitational St. Thomas over Northern Colorado 73-72. Number 21 Arkansas State over Jackson State 115-61. Kenku Challenge Campus game South Dakota State over Georgia State 105-58. Paradise Jam Evansville over Oregon State 73-69. Acrisure Campus game St. Louis over Purdue Fort Wayne 91-60. Cancun Challenge Campus game Mexico State over Stanford 81-72. Acrisure Classic Campus game Colorado over UC Davis 95-79. SMU over Arkansas State 169. Charleston Classic Georgia over Xavier 78-77. Acrisure Campus game Fresno State over New Orleans 85-76. Baja Mar number 1 Purdue over number 15 Texas Tech 86-56. Hall of Fame Classic Nebraska over Kansas State 86-85. Portland Invitational Portland over Fullerton 103-85. Empire Classic Cal over Sac State 91-67. Empire Classic Campus game number 19 UCLA over Presbyterian 86-46. All right, Saturday Georgetown over Wagner 92-75. Number 8 Illinois over LIU 98-58. Marquette over Central Michigan 85-71. Paradise Jam Green Bay over UMass 75-70 or 79-75. Oklahoma State over Nichols 95-81. Queen City Classic Maryland Eastern over Binghamton 63-52. ASUN SoCon Mercer over Eastern Kentucky 95-83. Hall of Fame Showcase Providence over Penn State 77-65. Northeastern beat Duquesne 93-86. Brotherhood run Howard over Niagara 80-70. ASUN SoCon Chattanooga over North Alabama 71-57. Boardwalk Battle UIC over Southern Indiana 84-73. Pensacola UT Martin over Prairie View 69-68. ASUN SoCon Lipscomb over Western Carolina 83-62. Paradise Jam Iona over Oregon State 91-84 in double overtime. San Fran over Minnesota 77-65. Portland Invitational Fullerton over St. Thomas 88-80. Boardwalk Battle High Point over Incarnate Word 91-80. ETSU MTE Morton State over Yale Monroe 83-80. ASUN SoCon Stetson over VMI 99-80. Richmond over Gardner Webb 102-67. Wichita State over Milwaukee 75-58. VCU over Coppin State 101-58. Portland Invitational Northern Colorado over Portland 86-80 in overtime. Pensacola Southern Miss over North Florida 92-83. And Sunday, Charleston Clemson over Georgia 97-94 in overtime. Air Force Classic SAU Edwardsville over Alabama State 83-68. Queen City Classic Canisius over Binghamton 75-66. Miami over Delaware State 97-41. Oklahoma over Alcorn State 72-53. Georgia Tech over West Georgia 82-66. Portland Invitational North Colorado over Fullerton 97-93. Greenbrier Mountain Division Butler over Virginia 80-73. Pensacola Consolation Game Prairie View over North Florida 85-82. Jacksonville Classic Southern Illinois over Delaware 79-59. Charleston Classic Xavier over West Virginia 78-68. Brotherhood Run number 5 Duke over Howard 93-56. ETSU MTE East Tennessee State over Monroe 97-55. Portland Invitational St. Thomas over Portland 76-66. Norfolk State loses at Wyoming 75-67. Greenbrier Northwestern over South Carolina 79-77. Ace on SoCon Furman over Queens 90-79. Air Force Classic Air Force over IU Indy 98-85. Skyscanner Legends Quinnipiac over Pitt 83-75. Cayman Islands McNeese over George Washington 92-86. Pensacola Southern Miss over Tennessee Martin 70-60. So Virgin Islands Paradise Jam Yale over Charleston 74-63. Jacksonville Classic UNC Greensboro over Youngstown State 68-62. Number 3 UConn over Bryant 72-49. DePaul over Detroit Mercy 95-75. Charleston Classic Tulane over BC 93-90 in overtime. Cayman Islands Middle Tennessee over Murray State 90-87. Paradise Jam Akron over Evansville at 97-59. And Charleston Classic Utah State over Davidson 94-60. I don't have time to go over the finals from today so far, but we have a couple underway as well. So we're just going to jump into Paradise Jam 5:30. Charleston Evansville. My line is Charleston by 15. And it is 5.5, 141. I'll lay it with Charleston. 6 o'clock TNT Players Era. Syracuse number 3 Houston. That's from Vegas. My line is Houston by 8. It's 14.5, 140. I'll take Syracuse plus the points. That's too high. CBS Sports Network. Sunshine Slam, Ohio, George Mason. My line's George Mason by 8. 7.5, 143.5 over. Siena Holy Cross. My line is Siena 23.5, and it's 8.5, 137. I'll lay it. Youngstown State, Georgia Southern, Jacksonville Classic. I might have to change the line here if this game is on a neutral, which I think it is. Yup. So I had Pick'em originally, but it's Youngstown by 3. And it's 1.5, 165.5. I'll take the over. Elon, App State, mine's App State 17.5. And it is 6.5, 143.5. I'll lay the points with Appalachian State. 7 o'clock Eastern Michigan, number 6 Louisville. I have Louisville by 45. And it's 33.5 total, 162.5. I'll lay it with Louisville. Next up is JMU FIU. My line is JMU 14. It's FIU 2.5 total, 154.5. I'll take JMU plus 2.5 and plus 118 outright. Eastern Kentucky, Northern Kentucky. My line is Northern 8. It's 4.5, 156.5. I'll lay it with Northern. Oral Roberts, Florida Gulf Coast. I have Gulf Coast 6.5. It's 10.5, 154.5. I'll take Oral Roberts to cover. Bellarmine Citadel. My line's Citadel 15. It's Bellarmine 2.5 total, 155. I'll take Citadel plus 2.5 plus 124 outright. KC Lindenwood. I have Lindenwood 17.5. It's 4.5, 152.5. I'll lay with Lindenwood. NJIT Cincinnati. I have Cincy 34.5. And that's what it is. When 141.5 is the total, I'll go over. Sacred Heart Central Con. My line is Sacred Heart by 6. And Central Con 3.5 total, 144.5. Like Sacred Heart plus 3.5 plus 154 outright. Maybe it's a letdown spot after the Rutgers win. Princeton Bradley from State Farm Fieldhouse and Kissimmee. I think that's in Disney. My line's Bradley 5.5. Oh, idiot me. Princeton's involved. Bradley 8.5 total, 139. I'll take Princeton plus the points. 7:30 New Orleans, Mississippi State. My line's Miss State 42.5. 23.5, 160.5. I'll lay it. Murray State McNeese from Cayman Islands. My line's McNeese 5.5. It's 2.5, 157.5. I'll lay it with McNeese. 8 o'clock Big Ten Network. Texas Rio Grande, number 13 Illinois. I have Illinois 35.5. 33.5, 164.5. I'll lay it. Number 21 Auburn, Oregon True TV from Vegas. My line's Oregon 7.5. Why is Auburn favored? I know they're ranked, but I like Oregon better. Plus 3.5, plus 136 outright. Yale, Akron. My line's Akron 1.5. And that's what it is. 155.5 is the total. I'll go under. Jacksonville State, Arkansas State. My line's Jacksonville State by 1. Arkansas State 4.5 total. 155.5. I'll take Jacksonville State plus 4.5 and plus 172 outright. Cal Poly, Northern Arizona. Mine's Cal Poly 4.5. And it's 1.5, 164.5. I'll lay it. Radford SMU. Mine's SMU 35.5. It's 23.5, 165.5. I'll lay it. LIU, Missouri State. Mine's LIU 6.5. And it's Missouri State 4.5 total. 145.5. I'll take LIU plus 4.5 and plus 172 outright. Loyola Marymount FAU from Daytona. My line is Loyola Marymount by 8. Florida Atlantic 3.5 total. 145.5. Loyola Marymount's undefeated. Give me them plus 3.5 and plus 172 outright. UTSA Abilene Christian. At 9 o'clock, my line is Abilene Christian is a 5-point dog, and they're actually favored 1.5 total. 144.5. Give me UTSA plus 1.5 and plus 114 outright. Louisiana UC Davis. My line is UC Davis by 19. It's 9.5, 135.5. I'll lay the points. On ESPNU, Washington State and Chaminade. We don't have a line for that. Wazoo should win that rather easily. 9:30 TNT, number 12 Gonzaga, number 8 Alabama. From Vegas, that's the game of the night. I have Pick'em. Gonzaga's 4.5 total, 178.5. I'll take Alabama plus 4.5 and plus 155 outright. CBS Sports Network 10:30 Denver, number 2 Arizona. Mine's Arizona 26. It's 33.5, 154.5. I'll take Denver to cover. True TV, San Diego State, number 7 Michigan from Vegas. My line is Michigan by 9. It's 6.5 total, 147.5. I'll lay it. ESPN2, Arizona State, Texas from Maui. Mine's Texas by 11. It's 6.5, 152.5. I'll lay it with Texas. And UNLV Maryland at midnight on TNT from Vegas. My line is UNLV by 12. It's Maryland 2.5 total, 162.5. I'll take UNLV plus 2.5 and plus 125 straight up. Wow, so I like a lot of dogs tonight on the card, which is good. Okay, NBA. We'll go over the results from the weekend, and we'll look ahead to tonight. Friday, group play. Cavs over the Pacers 120 to 109. Nets over the Celtics 113-105. Raptors over the Wiz 114-110. Heat over the Bulls 143-107. Mavs over the Pelicans 118-115. Suns over the Timberwolves 114-113. Nuggets over the Rockets 112-109. Thunder over the Jazz 144-112. And the Blazers over the Warriors 127-123. All right, Saturday, Magic over the Knicks 133-121. Clippers over the Hornets 131-116. Hawks over the Pelicans 115-98. Bulls over the Raptors 121-120. Pistons over the Bucks 129-116. Grizzlies over the Mavs 102-96. Kings over the Nuggets 128-123. Sunday, Heat over the Sixers 127-117. Hawks over the Hornets 113-110. Celtics over the Magic 138-129. Cavs over the Clippers 120-105. Raptors over the Nets 119-109. Thunder over the Blazers 122-95. Suns over the Spurs 111-102. And the Lakers over the Jazz 108-106. 10 games tonight, 7 o'clock. You have the Pistons and the Pacers. My line is Pistons by 11 3/4. And it is 10 235.5. I'll take the over. On Peacock, Cavs, Raptors. That's a good game. My line's Raptors by 1 3/4. And it's 1 231.5. I'll go over. 7:30 Knicks Nets. I have Knicks 12 3/4. And it's 13 228.5 over. Mavs Heat. My line's Heat 2 3/4 and 7.5 240.5. That's way too high. Maybe they think Anthony Davis is out, but that's way too high. Give me the Mavs plus 7.5. 8 o'clock Nuggets Grizz. My line is the Nuggets by 8 3/4, and it's 8 234.5. I'll take the over. Blazers Bucks. My line is the Bucks by 6, and it's 1 230.5. That's way too low. I know Giannis isn't playing, but Portland's missing a lot of guys too. That's way too low. I'm laying the 1 with the Bucks. Bulls Pelicans. My line is the Bulls by 5 1/4, and it's 5.5 244.5 under. 9:30 on Peacock. Rockets Suns. They're supposed to be Kevin Durant's return to Phoenix, but he is not playing. I think he's faking an injury, but what do I know? but I think it's ridiculous. Like, what are the freaking odds? He has an injury right before his return game. I just think that is sus behavior, as the kids say. My line is the Rockets 6.5, and it is 6.5 and 244 or 224.5. I'll go over. 10 o'clock Jazz Warriors from San Francisco. My line's Golden State 7.25. It's 14.5 and 240. That's way too high. No Draymond, no Kuminga. I know the Jazz are tanking, but that is way too high. Give me the Jazz plus 14 the hook. And then Timberwolves Kings. My line is Minnesota 14.5, and it's 9.5, 236.5. I'll lay to 9.5 with the Timberwolves. Okay, now move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from the weekend, and we'll look ahead to tonight. I don't think it's a heavy slate in hockey tonight. Oh, it actually is a decent slate. All right, so Friday, Sabres over the Blackhawks 9-3. So best bet was a complete flop. Wild over the Penguins 5-0. Canes over the Jets 4-3, and the Bruins over the Kings 2-1 in overtime. Saturday, Red Wings over the Jackets 4-3 in OT. Blues over the Isles 2-1. Habs over the Leafs 5-2. Oilers over the Panthers 6-3. Flyers over the Devils 6-3. Kraken over the Penguins 3-2 in OT. Mammoth over the Rangers 3-2. Lightning over the Caps 5-3. Sens over the Sharks 3-2. Avs over the Preds 3-0. Flames over the Stars 3-2 shootout. Ducks over the Golden Knights 4-3 OT. Alright, Sunday, Sabres over the Canes 4-1. Wild over the Jets 3-0. Isles over the Kraken 1-0 shootout. Avs over the Blackhawks 1-0. Sharks over the Bruins 3-1. And the Flames over the Ducks 5-2. Alright, we have a decent amount of games tonight. It looks like we have 7 games. 7 o'clock at NHL Network. Blues Rangers from MSG. The Rangers are back under 500. They're minus 144 favorite. The Blues are plus 120. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Blues plus 1.5 is minus 15. Rangers minus 1.5 plus 172. I'm going to go with the under. It looks like Igor's playing. Flyers, Lightning. Lightning minus 78. Flyers plus 146. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 124. Unders plus 102. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 176. Lightning minus 1.5 plus 142. That's a hard one. I'm going to lay the puck line with the Lightning at the 1 plus 142 number. Red Wings Devils, same number of points. Devils minus 140, Red Wings plus 116, over under 5.5, overs minus 128, unders plus 104. Red Wings plus 1.5 is minus 15, Devils minus 1.5 plus 172. I'm going to take the Red Wings plus 116. Just don't like how the Devils have looked. Blue Jackets Capitals. Caps minus 72, Jackets plus 142, over under 6.5, overs plus 104, unders minus 128. Blue Jackets plus 1.5 is minus 176, Caps minus 1.5 plus 142. I'm going with over 6.5 at plus 104. 8 o'clock, Panthers Preds. Panthers minus 140, Preds plus 116, over under 5.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. Panthers minus 1.5 plus 176, Preds plus 1.5 minus 220. That's a hard one, but I'm going to go under 5.5 at even money. Those are the goalies. 9 o'clock, Golden Knights Mammoth. Vegas minus 115, Mammoth minus 104, under 5.5. Overs minus 132, unders plus 108. Vegas minus 1.5 plus 210, Mammoth plus 1.5 minus 265. I'm going with the Mammoth at home minus 104. And Sens Kings. Kings minus 152, Sens plus 126, over under 5.5, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Sens plus 1.5 is minus 210, Kings minus 1.5 plus 168. I like over 5.5 at minus 104. Okay, now move over to soccer. We'll go over the games from the weekend and then look ahead to tonight. I'm going to do the same thing like I did in college basketball. I'm not going to touch on today's soccer results. We'll do that on tomorrow's podcast. So, Friday. La Liga, Valencia over Levante 1-0. Bundesliga, Mainz Hoffenheim 1-1 draw. French League 1, Marseille over Nice 5-1. ELC, Blackburn over Preston North End 2-1. Women's Cup, Wolverhampton over Stoke City 2-0. And the Pro League, Al Hazim over Al Khalid 2-1. Al Idiad over Al Raida 2-1. Al Ali and over Al Kadish 2-1. Saturday, EPL. Chelsea over Burnley 2-0. West Ham AFC Bournemouth 2-2 draw. Brighton and Hove over Brentford 2-1. Fulham over Sunderland 1-0. Nottingham Forest over Liverpool 3-0. Crystal Palace over Wolverhampton 2-0. Newcastle over Man City 2-1. La Liga. Celta Vigo over Alaves 1-0. Barcelona over Athletic Club 4-0. Real Sociedad over Osasuna 3-1. And Villarreal over Mallorca 2-1. Bundesliga. Borussia over FC Heidenheim 3-0. Bayern over SC Freiburg 6-2. Borussia Stuttgart 3-3 draw. FC Augsburg over Hamburg 1-0. Bayer Leverkusen over VfL Wolfsburg 3-1. And Frankfurt over FC Cologne 4-3. MLS. Vancouver LAFC 2-2 draw. Goes to penalties. Vancouver gets it done. 4-3 in penalties as they advance to the Western Conference Final. Women's Soccer League. Gotham over Washington 1-0. Gotham wins the championship yet again. So congrats to Gotham FC. Serie A, Cagliari Genoa 3-3 draw. Bologna over Udinese 3-0. Fiorentina Juventus 1-1 draw. And Napoli over Atalanta 3-1. French League 1, Lens over Strasbourg 1-0. Stade over AS Monaco 4-1. And PSG over Le Havre AC 3-0. Dutch Eredivisie. PSV Eindhoven over NAC Breda 1-0. Excelsior over Ajax 2-1. FC Volendam over FC 20. I'm sorry, that was a 1-1 draw. Heracles over Go Ahead Eagles 4-2. And Sparta Fortuna 1-1 draw. Pro League, Damak Al Najma 0-0 draw. El Idiafak over Al Faya 3-2. And Al Hilal over Al Fateh 2-1. In the USL Championship, there was a no draw. But Pittsburgh wins 5-3 on penalties. So congrats to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds on the USL Championship. Premier League. Falkirk over Dundee 3-0. Hibernian over Dundee 2-0. Motherwell over Kilmarnock 3-1. Rangers over Livingston 2-1. And Celtic over St. Marion 1-0. Sunday EPL. Aston Villa over Leeds United 2-1. Arsenal over Tottenham 4-1. La Liga, Real Valenciano and Real Oviedo 0-0 draw. Real Betis Girona 1-1 draw. Atletico Madrid over Getafe 1-0. And Real Madrid LK 2-2 draw. Bundesliga, RP Leipzig over Bremen 2-0. And Union Berlin over St. Pauli 1-0. All right, and in MLS, Eastern Conference semifinals, Miami over Cincinnati 4-0. They advance. And NYCFC over Philadelphia 1-0. So we have Inter Miami and Messi against NYCFC in the Eastern Conference Final. Serie A, Parma over Verona 2-1. AS Roma over Cremonese 3-1. Lazio over Lecce 2-0. And AC Milan over Inter 1-0. French League 1, Ajax over Lyon 0-0 draw. Brest over Metz 3-2. Nantes Lorient 1-1 draw. Angers over Toulouse 1-0. And Lille over Paris FC 4-2. Dutch Eredivisie, Heerenveen over AC Alkmaar 3-1. NEC Nejmen over Feyenoord 4-2. Telstar FC Utrecht 1-1 draw. And FC Groningen PC Zwolle 2-2 draw. And ELC, Sheffield United over Sheffield Wednesday 3-0. All right, tonight we have one big game in the MLS Western semifinals, 10 o'clock, Apple TV, San Diego FC and Minnesota United FC. Going to be a great game in the MLS playoffs. San Diego minus 185, Minnesota plus 430, draw plus 320. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals, plus 134. This feels like a 1-0 game or a 1-1 draw game with penalties, or a 2-0 game. So I'm going to go with the under there at plus money. Okay, now move on to golf. We'll go over the results from the RSM Classic. In first place, 23 under, earning $1.3 million, Sammy Valimaki. Coming in second with 22 under, Max McGreevy. Third, 21 under, Ricky Castillo. Tied for fourth, 19 under, Nico Echevarria, Saiwoo Kim, Lee Hodges. Tied for 7th, 18 under. Sam Stevens, Rico Hoey, Doug Gibb, JT Potts and John Pack, Seamus Power, Zach Blair, Johnny Kiefer, Andrew Novak, Patrick Rogers, and Michael Thubjorsen. Tied for 18th with 17 under. Keith Mitchell, Doc Redman, Mac Meisner. Tied for 21st with 16 under. Ben Martin, Ryan Palmer, William Mao, Eric Cole, Trey Molinax is tied for 25th with 15 under. With Henrik Norlander, Bayon Ganon, Webb Simpson, Grayson Sieg, Caden Buckley, Davis Thompson, Antoine Rosner, Andrew Putnam. Tied for 34th with 14 under. Chris Ventura, Patrick Fishburne, Vince Whaley, Ben Coles, Harrison Endicott, Pat Kazir, Mark Hubbard. Tied for 41st with 13 under. Bryce Garnett, Austin Eckler, Chon Kim, Chris Kirk, Nicholas Nojard, Jonathan Bird. Tied for 47th with 12 under. Ben Silverman, Matthew Riedel, Harry English, Sam Ryder. Tied for 51st with 11 under. Jesper Svensson, Daniel Berger, Pearson Coody, Matt Wallace, Mackenzie Hughes, Carl Vilps, Michael Brennan, Jackson Subert, Denny McCarthy, Quade Cummins, Troy Merritt. Tied for 62nd with 10 under. Chad Ramey, Alex Smalley. Tied for 64th, 9 under. Bayo Hassler, Brant Snecker, Thomas Rosenmuller. Tied for 67th with 8 under. Davis Riley, Matthew Pavon, Matt Kuchart. 70th with 7 under. Adam Hadwin. 71st with 6 under. Chester V. Tied for 72nd with 2 under. James Hahn and Brendan Valdez. Among those cut, Carson Young, Nick Hardy, Lanto Griffin, Jason Hadley, Stephen Fisk, Luke List, Martin Laird, Kevin Stroman, Danny Walker, Camilo Vegas, Will Gordon, Cam Champ, Justin Lauer, LeJordan Allison, Dylan Fratelli, Adrian DeMontecousin, Harry Higgs, Stefan Yeager, Tom Hogue, Taylor Dixon, Kevin Kisner, Adam Svensson, Paul Peterson, Joseph Burnett, Scott Piercy, Robbie Shelton, Rio Satune, Will Chandler, Tyler Duncan, Taylor Montgomery, David Lipsky, Taylor Moore, Kyle Westmoreland, Austin Cook, Matt Neesmith, Jacob Bridgman, Jason Duffner, Ben Pullen, Adam Schenk, Nick Watney, and Brendan Todd. Next up, we don't know. It doesn't say any December tournaments yet, so I know they have a bye this week for Thanksgiving, which is good. Okay, on this day, we're going to go from Saturday to Monday. We will begin with Saturdays on this day, and it is brought to you by All Sports News. On this day, November 22nd. NHL expansion team to be named the Vegas Golden Knights. That was in 2016. Wow, so we're coming. This is their 8th year in existence, and they have won Stanley Cup and made the finals also in their inaugural year and lost to the Capitals in 5. They've been good since they joined the league. They only missed the playoffs 1 year. 1 year. And then next year they bounced back and won the Cup. 2015, Dodgers hired Dave Roberts. Wow. So he's been the manager there for 10 years. 2015, Joe Flacco tears his ACL. I remember when that happened. That was just brutal to watch. 2014, Savon J. P. Ryan breaks FBS single-game rushing record. He was a good college player. 2020, Joe Burrow tears his ACL. That was his rookie year. 2024, so a year ago, Giants cut Daniel Jones. Duh. So, the funny thing is that was from November 22nd. That was Saturday, so that must have been a Thursday. Or a Friday. That's weird. I don't remember him getting cut later in the week. I thought it was in the beginning of the week. 2020, Jason Tatum signs max extension with the Celtics. 2015, Warriors tie record with 15-0 start. 2013, Diamondbacks acquire Eugenio Suarez. And then they trade him to Seattle. 2020, Donovan Mitchell signs max extension with the Jazz and he gets traded to Cleveland 2 years later. 2019, White Sox re-sign Jose Abreu. In 2015, Iowa State fires Paul Rhodes. And then they hire Matt Campbell. The rest is history. All right, this was yesterday's on this thing, November 23rd, 2014. Odell Beckham Jr. makes historic catch against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. That's crazy. I thought that was in December. It's funny because that anniversary popped up on a Sunday 11 years later. 2013, Yankees signed Brian McCann. I remember that when they signed him in free agency. They went bonkers in free agency, but they signed the wrong people. And if you think about it, but they really should have brought back their own guy, Robinson Cano, and then they signed Jacoby Ellsbury by accident. Or not by accident, but instead of Cano, that was the mistake. But that's gonna come up in a couple weeks. 2013, Derrick Rose tears his meniscus. I remember that. And he was out for the rest of the year. 2021, Wander Franco signs mega extension. Wander Franco is just... It's sad to think about him because he was a massive talent and then he got in trouble. 2018, Texans owner Bob McNair passes away. Can't believe it's been that long already. 2016, Mariners acquire Gene Segura. Does Gene Segura still play? 2016, Kevin Love scores record 34 points in the first quarter. Really don't remember that. 2015, Patriots improved to 10-0. And I don't think they won the Super Bowl that year. No, it was Denver. 2022, Jets benching Zach Wilson. 2015, Syracuse fires Scott Schaefer. 2014, Oklahoma shuts down number 7 Alabama. That was last year. Didn't they shut him out? Or come close to shutting him out? And in 2021, the Giants fire offensive coordinator Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, I feel like, was their offensive coordinator only for a year. And he stunk. And they were talking about him being the next coach instead of Daboll. When they got rid of... that was Joe Judge, right? Yeah, that was the Joe Judge year. And then on this day today, November 24th, 2015, Warriors set NBA record with 16-0 start. That turned out to be the 73-9 team. 2014, Red Sox signed Pablo Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez. I remember they went bonkers in that free agency, and that really got them nowhere. Although they did win the World Series in 18, but I don't think Sandoval was on the team that year. I think that got rid of him. I could be wrong. They did end up winning the World Series, but those guys, to me... I mean, Hanley, I remember, hit a big home run against the Yankees. They hit a walk-off... Was it a walk-off grand slam or a walk-off home run off of Dellin Betances in 2016? I remember that vividly. It was a Thursday night in Fenway. And that was the year they traded everybody. 2017, Arkansas fires Brett Bielema. 2014, Eric Berry believed to have lymphoma. 2024, Blues hire Jim Montgomery. And then they go on to make the playoffs. 2018, Patrick Laine scores 5 goals. Kind of remember that. 2017, Pitt upsets number 2 Miami. The annual Miami upset. 2018, Texas A&M defeats LSU in 7 overtimes. I remember that game. Wasn't that Thanksgiving? Yeah. 2018 that year, I think, was Thanksgiving. 2013, Cardinals signed Johnny Peralta. 2023, NBA looking into allegations against Josh Giddey. I remember that. Now Josh Giddey's a really good player on the Bulls. In 2020, Bam Adebayo signs max extension. So, some interesting memories on there, and then we're going to have some good ones coming up with Thanksgiving games and such. So that's something to watch. And I know that LSU A&M game, feel like was on Thanksgiving as well. Okay, now move on to the news and notes for today. There's a lot to get to today. Um, so the Giants fired their defensive coordinator after yet another collapse. Shane Bowen, who should have been fired with Brian Daboll a couple weeks ago. Outside linebackers coach Charlie Bullen to take over for Shane Bowen. And the Giants have won 5 fourth quarter leads of 10 points or more this season. So Detroit, Denver, Dallas. They keep showing the New Orleans thing on there, but they were up double digits in the second quarter. That wasn't the fourth quarter. So Chicago. Well, they meant. Yeah, there's another one too. So Denver, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago. There really were 4. New Orleans was the second quarter because they keep showing that graphic. And they're all road games too. And yours truly actually live bet the Lions at plus 430 when the Giants didn't get anything going to obviously extend the lead. So you kind of knew what was coming. And then I got it at plus 430, and I parlayed that with the Chiefs. And the Chiefs line moved on me. I was getting like almost even money, but ended up being minus 113. But that was a double hit. But yeah, I think Joe Shane's eventually going to get let go, and Mike Kafka I don't think is getting this job. I think that, and I honestly didn't think he was getting a job anyway. He's a product of Patrick Mahomes, just like Daboll arguably was a product of Josh Allen. And Dexter Lawrence was in tears on the bench, and he was injured during the game as well. Tyler Herro is coming back from Miami tonight against the Mavs. That's probably why the line was so high. Like, oh, everyone, like Tyler Herro is not a franchise player. Like, they priced in his return that betting line. Aaron Gordon has grade 2 strain. He'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks. That's not good for the Nuggets. Cal fires Justin Wilcox after 9 seasons. I don't agree with that decision. I thought Cal was overachieved this year. They're probably somebody they really want. And if Florida State is keeping Mike Norvell, despite a 5-6 record, Colorado State quarterback Darius Curry caught spitting on camera against their latest opponent, Boise State, and then the quarterback and the lineman are not going to play in the next matchup. Trinidad Chambliss, the Ole Miss quarterback, Richard's Rebel Faithful team is completely locked in. They know he's gone. Lane's gone. Lane's going to LSU. I'd be shocked if he didn't go to LSU this way. It's all the tea leaves are there. I know Chris Felica said Florida, but it did look like Florida for a little bit, but now I'm convinced it's LSU. Tatsuma Amai said he wants to beat the Dodgers, doesn't appear interested in joining them. The Rockies are promoting Warren Schaefer to be their regular manager after taking over for Bud Black during the year. So how about this? The Mets and the Rangers do a one-on-one trade, 1-for-1 deal. Brandon Nimmo traded to the Rangers for Marcus Semien. I think that's a little bit of a crazy trade. The question is, where does Semien fit in the Mets infield? Probably second base because you have Francisco Lindor at shortstop. So, Semien comes in, Nimmo's out. I think it's a weird deal, and then Nimmo goes in the outfield. Now the Rangers have a hole at second base unless they have a prospect that's ready there. But yeah, that's a weird deal to me. And then Nimmo had to waive his trade clause. But yeah, I don't know if I love it for either team. I have to look more into it. And then David Stern says running back the exact same group would have been wrong. So they're pretty much saying that he's the fall guy for their collapse. And the Mets may move on for Edwin Diaz as they're looking at Devin Williams and Robert Suarez as replacements. I think Suarez would be good. Devin Williams would suck. I mean, I think he would suck with the Mets, just like he sucked with the Yankees. So if I'm the Mets, say weary of Devin Williams, re-sign Diaz, and Robert Suarez isn't bad. Baker Mayfield gets MRI results as he has a low-grade sprain on his shoulder. He might not even play next week. I wouldn't be surprised. Shader Sanders is starting again against the 49ers after an impressive debut. Hal Steinbrenner on Yankees free agent poach. He says cautious spending has become necessity. I think that's interesting. And I personally think that the Yankees are not that far away. Like, if they had Garrett Cole, they probably beat the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays might not even make the playoffs if he's healthy. That injury, Garrett Cole, I think swung the American League. I'm not saying the Yankees would have won the World Series if they had Garrett Cole, but they certainly would have been the 1 seed. They probably don't even play the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays aren't even in the playoffs. But then again, maybe they're playing Skubal, which wouldn't have been ideal in the Tigers. But yeah, they're probably the 1 seed if he was healthy the whole year. And their pitching's really good. I just think that they need to bring back Cody Bellinger. And you get Garrett Cole back, and to me, you're the team to beat in the American League. Right there with the Blue Jays. And then the weird thing is that the Blue Jays were so undervalued in the betting market when the futures came out. The Yankees were the second choice to win the World Series behind the Dodgers, and Vegas is obviously seeing the Cole return and the emergence of Schlittler, and they thought the Blue Jays were fluky because of Cole being hurt and yada yada. So how about this? The Dallas Wings won the WNBA draft lottery, so they have back-to-back number 1 overall picks. So the senior national team first timers, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, and of course Caitlin Clark, and then she was influenced Steph UAX that it just Curry was disappointed when Under Armour didn't land Caitlin Clark out of college. The Phoenix Mercury has new logos. This is a ridiculous clickbait. Knicks likely to try for AD is they are expected to check in with Mavs if Davis becomes available. Absolutely fucking not. They can't ruin what they have. I understand the start's been wacky, but they've had some injuries. So don't go near another injury-prone player that is past his prime. I think the Clippers should go for Anthony Davis. That is, to me, the most desperate team out of anybody. Raiders part ways with Chip Kelly as he's out midway through first season with the Vegas Raiders. Wow. That's a dumpster fire. And then after the game last night, Kevin Stefanski dodged the QB1 question. He said he wasn't going to go into it after Shader's first win. And then the Browns' offensive game plan was expected to include what Shader likes. The Chiefs signed Damon Pierce from KC's. So he'll start on KC's practice squad. The Cowboys expected to tag Pickens as they're likely to try and extend him after signing him to a 1-year deal. And not a lot of teams are eyeing Anthony Davis. The Clippers are eyeing DeMar DeRozan as he's drawn some interest from them. The Kings are open for business, actually. Keegan Murray, Nick Clifford, only players off the table for Sacramento. Jaden Daniels, a long shot to play against the Broncos. T. Higgins is going to be out for the Thanksgiving game against the Ravens. So is Trey Hendrickson, as he was in concussion protocol. And then Teddy Bridgewater had to play quarterback for the Bucs, as obviously Baker had the shoulder injury. And they're not ruling him out yet for the week, as he's believed to have sprained AC joint pending MRI results. Alvin Kamara ruled out against the Saints' knee. Aaron Rodgers to be back against the Bills. Will Campbell got carted off yesterday with an injury. Keyshawn Nixon had a stinger against the Vikings. Josh Jacobs didn't play against the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers flipped off cameras, which is funny. It looks like Joe Burrow's coming back on Thursday against the Ravens. J.J. McCarthy in concussion protocol. Seahawks game TBD for him after experiencing symptoms on flight home. Wow. And that, I don't think is a fake injury. Like, I watched the game and I saw him get banged up there. Trey Smith likely out as he's dealing with the high and low ankle sprains against the Cowboys. And then Falcons rookie cornerback Billy Bowman Jr. injured at practice last week as he towards ACL. Alrighty. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a lot of ones I like. I'm going to take a stinky line. I'm going to go to the NBA. There's two I like. I'm going to go with the Utah Jazz plus 14 hook. No Draymond, no Kuminga. It's like Steph Curry and nobody. So I'm going to take the Jazz getting 14 and a hook against the Warriors for my best bet of the day. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, look ahead to everything tomorrow. And then Wednesday's show is going to be an absolute bear. Maybe a 2-hour show because I have to do all the Thanksgiving stuff and the Fab Five. So I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.